Next, we have Pokemon Scarlet. This is obviously the newest addition to the collection. I really want to like Pokemon Scarlet, but God, it's rough. It's in a really rough state. Um, I appreciate all that they tried to do, because Game Freak has been getting by for almost 30 years now doing the bare minimum, and Pokemon is the biggest franchise ever, so it's like, couldn't you make like a better game? And I think they tried, or it kind of feels like they tried to do something new, with the open world and the different, like three different quote unquote storylines essentially. And I think all of that works on paper, but one, just mechanically, it just runs bad. There's a lot of stuttering, there's a lot of frame rate issues, there's a lot of weird, like, jitteriness in the characters, which I think I just said the same thing 3 times, but that's a really big issue. I've seen people run into crashes. Thankfully, I haven't run into any crashes yet, but I fully believe that this game has the ability to crash all the time. I think they bit off a little more than they could chew for the Switch's hardware, but at the same time, I feel like they could have made this work because they made Arceus work. That had some issues as well, and obviously adding in the fact of, when you're playing Arceus, you're by yourself for the most time. Yeah, you've got the other Pokemon around, and there were still some issues with off in the distance, the draw distance, you would see a Machop walking around like he's doing the robot. And then factoring in all the other Pokemon, plus the people in it, plus I think they tried to increase the draw distance in this game. It's rough. It's in a really rough state, and hopefully they can patch it. I don't know if they can or not. And the game itself is fine. It's Pokemon at the end of the day. But I've been running into an issue where, because it's open world, again, an open world Pokemon game, you think, oh my god, that'd be so awesome. But because everything has its own level behind it, you're going to continuously run into places that you're not supposed to be at yet. And I get, in theory, like, a lot of people, like, I've seen reviewers say, like, oh, I like that because then then I'm actually exploring myself. And, like, I get, like, why you would want to explore it yourself. But for me, especially, like, with the gym battles or whatever, you have to go through this whole trial, and then you have to like I don't want to do all this bullshit just to realize, oh wait, I'm not supposed to be here yet, and then feel like I wasted a bunch of time. The same thing with like the star battles or whatever, where you just throw out your Pokemon and they just battle like on the field. That's cool in theory, but then you do all that, it's like a 10-minute endeavor. And then you realize, oh, I'm not supposed to battle this giant fucking truck yet because it's way too strong. And then the same thing with the Titans. Like there was a bird on top of this mountain, and you go up the mountain. It doesn't take that long. I'm not, so maybe a lot of people might think, oh, Dave, you're reading too much into it, or you're getting too annoyed. And it's not really annoying. It's just kind of a little like, oh, I obviously can't be here yet, which is fine, but then why did I do all this bullshit? Like, I don't know if making it scale, like all the gyms start out at like a level, a first gym, and then the second you beat the whatever gym is first, then every gym increases in level, like make it all like a level scale. I don't remember the word for it, but make it all scale and levels, or you just on the map say, hey, you can tackle this in any order you want, but we're gonna just at least give you a recommendation of how to do it. Because like the gym badges are still locked behind like levels of Pokemon. Like when you get your first badge, oh, now all Pokemon up to level 25 can obey you or whatever. So, which is fine, that's how it's always worked, but if you're telling me that I can go do everything else first, my Pokemon are gonna reach level 25 before I do the gym, right? So then it really isn't freedom of choice, because I have to do the gyms first to get the full use out of my Pokemon and to be able to finish all this other stuff. Like, I don't know, it just seems a little like they tried to make it work, and it just seems like the systems are fighting each other, and it's weird. I love open worlds. I don't mind a linear game. And on paper, again, an open world Pokemon game makes a lot of sense, but it just doesn't. It doesn't really work here, because you think about it and you're like, okay, I've got all this stuff to do, and then the systems are fighting one another, and it just doesn't mesh well. It doesn't really work. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. It's fine. It's fine. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the open world, like it's open and you can go anywhere. Obviously, it's kind of a trek to get anywhere, because everything is so jittery and stuttery. It kind of feels like an alpha or like a fan-made MMO some of the times. But I never truly feel like I'm actually seeing everything I want to see, because everything is so spread out. I'm like looking around for trainers, and they're not like hard to find, but when I go through Pokemon games, I want to battle everybody. This is like, they could be anywhere, and there's no indication of where they are on the map, so it's like, if you find them, you find them. That's cool, but I never truly felt like I was finding everybody. And you know, you plop you down in this world, and you have all these places to go, and again, all of this on paper sounds great, but in practice it just doesn't work, because there's no like indication of like where I should go. Not that I want the game to hold my hand per se, but like I'm sitting here being like, okay, I have all this stuff to do, but yet I don't even know where to start, and it feels just kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I just kind of feel like there's too much for like it's, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like there's something keeping me going. You know, like in the previous Pokemon games, you went to this town and then this town and then this town because you wanted to get the badges and you wanted to experience the story. In this, because you can do it all in any order, it kind of feels like they don't want the story out of order, so it kind of feels like you got to do all of this stuff before you get anything. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly here, but yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Scarlett. I'm liking it, and I hope I think if on a technical level, if it doesn't run like ass, I think the rest of the game would be fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Pokemon. I like catching new Pokemon. I've been using new Pokemon that I've never used before in my 20 years plus of playing Pokemon or whatever. So that's always fun. And some of the new Pokemon for Generation 9, I think this is, are cool. But just the game itself is pretty rough. And it's kind of a little like, I don't know how to feel about it entirely. But they fix the technical stuff. If they're able to do that, I definitely can look past all of the other like gameplay stuff. Because again, it's not bad. It's just a little misconstrued or a little everywhere. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. But those are my initial thoughts. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. This kind of, I was doing a Switch collection video, but this kind of turned into an impressions of Pokemon Scarlet. I'll just do the collection video in a different video, I guess. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet. It's okay. A little disappointing. Pretty disappointing. Again, fix the technical stuff, and the rest of it I feel like will be a lot more fun. But yeah, that's it.